Good morning. Let us see some code snippets on if statements, switch statement, and some loop statements. So the first one here, I have to analyze this code and write the output. So inside the main, so here they have given void main. So if they have given void main, don't write it is an error. So void main tells that this main will not have any written statement. So inside this main function, I have printf rvce and if minus 8.9 printf invalid, else semicolon and printf valid. So here you can observe that first statement gets executed is printf rvce. So rvce will be printed first. Then this if statement, when it gets executed, it checks the expression inside this if. So minus 8.9 is considered as a true value because anything other than 0 is considered as true. The body of the if statement gets executed. So here the body of the if statement is invalid. So it prints invalid. And the else statement is terminated by semicolon, indicating that there is no statement to be executed if the condition becomes fail. So once this if statement terminates, it again goes to the next statement, which is printf valid. So the output of this code will be rvca, and since it is true, it prints invalid, and after this if statement gets executed, it prints valid. So the output will be rvca invalid and valid. Suppose I make this condition as 0, then first rvca will be printed, and this it is 0, so it is false. So it comes to the else, and since else is a null statement, it comes out and prints valid. So the output will be RVCE and valid if the expression is 0. So let us run this code and check the output on our online compiler. So I have the same statements what was there. So if you run, you can observe the same output which I have told, RVCE invalid and valid. And suppose this expression, if I make it as 0, then I should get RVCE and valid. RVCE followed by valid. So let us go to the next program. So here in the main, I have integer a equals to minus 45, integer b equal to 34. And if statement is here, if a not equals to b and semicolon. So the next statement is printf true, but the next statement is printf false. So in this case, first a will be initialized to minus 45 and b will be initialized to 34, and the test expression gets evaluated. So here a is not equal to b. This condition is true, and since this condition is true, it has to execute the statements within the body, and the body of the statement here is a null statement because it is terminated by semicolon. It indicates that body is a null, so nothing will be done. It executes the next statements which are outside the if. So the output will be true followed by false. So let us type this code and execute on our online compiler. Here this is a stray character which has to be replaced by equivalent. So our expected output is true followed by false, which we can see here as true false. So suppose there is no semicolon. Again here this condition becomes true. Therefore the statement true gets executed and the false also gets executed. So both the cases, the answer is true followed by false. If the question is modified, if A is equal to B and this is a statement, then in this case the condition A is equal to B becomes false, so only false has to be printed. Let us go to the next code. Suppose I have this switch statement. So integer I equals to 10, switch on I, and inside that I have printf hello and case 56 printf program, default printf error, case 102 printf language, case 85 printf compiler. And here you can observe that the default case is printed is put up in between the case values. And one more thing you can observe here is the printf hello is not linked to any of the cases. So this will going to generate just a warning because it's not going to execute. So you will get a warning saying that the statement will never be executed, but your code will be executed. And since the value of I is 10 here, so it does not match with 56, it does not match with 102, and it does not match with 85, and you have a default case, so it is going to print the message error. And since this default case is not terminated by break, it goes to the next case and it prints language, and again this is not having break, so it goes to the next statement and prints compiler, and this bracket terminates the switch, so it comes out, and after that there is no other statement in the main, so the main program terminates. So the output will be error language compiler. So let us run this code on the compiler and check. Here I can do the replacement, the stray character replace all, and the replacement of this character which is beginning also by this, so I can replace this. Now I can run it and observe, you can see that warning, the statement will never be executed because this printf hello, it's not going to be a body of any of the cases, so it just gives the warning and prints because it is 10 is not with equal to 56, 102 or 85, it goes to the default, and it prints error language and compiler. Let us go to the next code. So here inside the main I have integer I equal to 0 and for semicolon I less than 5, I plus plus, and the body contains printf program new line, and inside that again I have if I equal to 3 break. Outside the for I have printf end. So how this for loop gets executed? Since I is initialized to 0, there is no requirement of initialize statement inside the for, so it comes to the testing condition. So the I value is 0, so it is less than 5, so body gets executed, it prints program and goes to the new line, and the I value will be tested against 3, so here 0 is not equal to 3, it again goes to the increment part, I becomes 1 and I is less than 5, it prints again program, and it is not equal to 3, it again goes to the increment and I becomes 2, and 2 is less than 5, so I becomes it prints again program, and then I increments, and then I becomes 3 and it prints program, and I is 3, so it terminates. So when I is 0, once program is printed, when I is 1, once program is printed, when I is 2, again program is printed, and when I becomes 3, it is still less than 5, so it prints again program 3, and I is equal to 3, then it terminates, so the program will be printed 4 times, and after the for loop terminates it prints end. So you will be getting program printed 4 times, and at the end will be displayed. So let us type this code and execute. Here integer I equal to 0 or semicolon I less than 5 I plus plus, and inside the body I have printf backslash n program dash n, and I have if I equal to 3, then break, and then printf end. This was my code. So you can observe 4 times program is printed followed by end. Next one here, same initialization for loop, but instead of a break I have exit here. So this break I will replace by exit. So now since I am using an exit statement, I have to include stdlib hash include stdlib dot h, and when such question comes, don't write header file is not included, assuming that all the required header files are included. Write the output. So here exit 0 will terminate the program, so end will not be printed, only program will be printed 4 times.